All right, we're going to be talking today about ARIN policy 2021-2, which is special use space out of scope for the purpose of determining waitlist eligibility. Next slide. This is the first time that it's come to any ARIN meetings. It was submitted by Rob Seastrom as a policy proposal. Carrie Richards is the co-shepherd, and it's my pleasure to share the policy on behalf of the two of us. So this was submitted on the 15th of January and then elevated to draft policy on the ARIN-AC meeting the 23rd of March 2021. Next slide. Here's the problem statement. So current policy does not clearly indicate whether special use addresses for critical infrastructure defined in section 4.4, as well as special use addressing for facilitating IPv6 deployment defined in section 4.10 should be considered as part of the /20 equivalent IPv4 space in aggregate, which would make an organization ineligible for the ARIN waitlist defined in section 4.1.8 of NERPM. So these have been evaluated independently in the past. Next slide. The policy statement as proposed is to replace the current sentence in section 4.1.8, which states organizations which hold more than a /20 equivalent of IPv4 space in aggregate are not eligible to apply. And that text will be replaced with the same, but just adding what's in brackets there. So organizations which hold more than a /20 equivalent of IPv4 space in aggregate, exclusive of special use space received under section 4.4 or 4.10, are not eligible to apply. Next slide. So the origin and background of this is that staff and legal assessment 1st of May 2019 for ARIN 2019-/16. The staff noted ARIN staff would immediately perform an audit of the current waitlist and remove and inform any organization that holds more than a /20 in IPv4 space, excluding 4.4 and 4.10. So the intent was clear at this point to treat those blocks distinctly, although that doesn't exist in policy today. So next slide. So failure to incorporate this nuance into the NRPM or explicitly contradict it has resulted in some confusion. And a recent policy experience report cited 3 occurrences in as many weeks, so 3 weeks, where staff had a difficult time determining whether or not to include those address blocks in the evaluation of the /20. Next slide. And here's a nice quote: clarity affords focus. So the benefit of clarity, of course, is that there's no uncertainty as to how this will be treated. So clear policy is good. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew, for your inaugural AC presentation. My thanks also to Carrie Vassal Richards, who I know was going to give you this presentation, and she does send regrets. Technology has unfortunately got in the way of a technology conference, but my thanks to her and Matthew on this presentation. We look forward to seeing you back online shortly, Carrie. So this is our last proposal before open microphone. If you want to comment on this, you know the drill. Put up your hand or put in the Q&A. This is a draft policy, so feedback on the problem statement is definitely the main focus, but any other feedback is welcome. Given a few more seconds. Oh, all right. I thought I saw. Okay, we have a hand up. Let's go to, I believe it's Marlon.
You should be able to unmute yourself now.
Hi,
Marlon,
yes.
Can I name affiliation and whether you support or against the policy, please? And go ahead.
Yes, Marlene Martas, Amazon Web Services, and I support this policy.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. We have a Q&A. Let's go to that.
Paul Emmons from NinjaX. As an internet exchange point operator, we support this change. We have run into this issue recently, having to supply utilization of IX space. I assume that's 1X space in order to get on the wait list for IPv4 space.
Okay, thank you. We have another Q&A, so let's go to that.
Gary Geeson, Central Logic, ARIN-AC, support the policy as written and the problem statement. It codifies the practice already occurring and makes it clear to those on the wait list or to those looking to apply to the waitlist what the requirements specifically are.
Thank you. Okay, we go to John O'Brien next, please.
John O'Brien, University of Pennsylvania. Is it a true statement that the non-special use allocation can be used for special uses, but a special use allocation cannot be used for non-special uses? If so, I would be in favor of excluding special uses, address resources. Sorry, that was a little hard to say.
Okay. Sai Mattapalli, you've put a question here, but I'm having a hard time understanding. Maybe you could just try clarifying what you're trying to get comments, specifically if you're in favor or against the policy. If you could do that, and we'll come back to you. Let's go to Gus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we answer the question for Mr. O'Brien?
I've asked
Moving on.
Sai to
Sorry.
put back in because I don't see the question as germane to the policy here. So.
Okay. And Gus Reese, Cogent Communications, I support this policy as written and the problem statement.
Okay. Next comment from Joe Provo.
Joe Provo, Google, ARIN-AC, I support as written.
Okay, we're going to close the queues in a second. We'll give Sai a few seconds to type something, otherwise we'll go with his original. If you want to put your hand up, put it up. Okay, Sai, why don't we go to Sai live and we'll go from there. And if at the end of Sai's comments, the Q&A will be closed. So Sai, can you please give your name and affiliation, and please start with if you're in favor or against the policy.
So my name is Sai Mattapalli. I am from Mattapalli Technologies, but I am very new to this meeting. I don't know that how to ask a question, because you are asking my opinion about policy, yes or no, or you are asking a question and answer which I have on the policy. You clarify and then take my decision, I support or not.
Well, that's how our policy process works. We ask those who are speaking at the microphone on policy, as is a standard rule of order,
So
to
start with.
Let me go first. To start with whether you're in favor or against, and then the reasons for that. I understand you're new to the community. We welcome that. What may make more use is we can have a staff member reach out to you with your question. And they can help that. And if at that time you still want to give some feedback into the policy process, the public policy mailing list is available, and you could put your comment on that. So that would be my suggestion. But if you want to rephrase your question now, okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. So thank you for that. And as I have no other Q&A in the queue, this is going to give one last call, because this will end our policy process, and then I'm going to take us into open microphone. And we're going to try and we've gotten back on track here time-wise, which is good. So we have ample time for open microphone. And we have, of course, our breakout sessions later. But seeing none, we're going to close the microphones on this policy. This ends our policy block for today and ends our policies for the ARIN 47 meeting.